Leo, The Ageless Ideas of Leonardo da Vinci by Jean Beretta. Leonardo da Vinci was fascinated by the world around him. He studied animals and people. He watched plants grow and birds fly. He explored the mighty rivers. Nature was his teacher. It inspired his remarkable studies and inventions. Leonardo's ideas were revolutionary, but they remained buried among his 20,000 pages of notes. Most of his inventions were not built in his lifetime. The designs were either too expensive, too sophisticated, or too controversial. Sadly, most of his ideas had been lost to time, but the surviving notes prove that he was a true visionary. For example, in 1903, the Wright brothers were famous for creating an engine-powered aircraft that could carry a person in the sky. But 400 years earlier, Leonardo had designed several man-powered aircraft, including the Aerithopter. He wanted to give people the ability to fly like birds, as he passionately studied. In 1891, Otto Lichtenthal had actually seen Leonardo's Olifter drawings in the late 1880s. He was motivated to develop history's first successful hang glider. Here's Leo's notes. Leonardo designed his glider after watching leaves glide through the air. In 1887, Adolf Eugene Fick is responsible for making and fitting the first pair of successful contact lenses. Oddly, he tested them on animals. And over here, Leo's diagrams show detailed concepts of a contact lens. He used light and water to conduct advanced studies in vision and magnification. And in 1895, Thomas Edison's kinescope was the first front rotor of the modern movie projector. But it was not the first example of a projector. Leonardo figured out how to use light to project images through contact lens. In 1787, Thomas Paine exhibited a model of a single-span bridge in Benjamin Franklin's garden. At the time, no one believed this bridge could work, especially without the usual support piers to hold up in the center. Leonardo believed that a single-span bridge was surely possible, but like Mr. Paine, he never saw his bridge constructed. He also provided value of truss bridges. Leonardo's better than the older box structures. Leonardo's experiments confirmed that a triangle truss would resist tension better than older box structures. He proposed a two-level truss bridge at the bottom level for transportation and the top level for pedestrians. So you could walk on this side and then you could ride on this side. In 1916, the world had not seen a tank in action until World War I. The British Navy developed it, and Captain H.W. Mortimer brought one to battle for the first time. But Leo was thinking about tanks long before Captain Mortimer. Turtles became his model. He considered himself a pacifist, but looked at weapons as a design challenge. He also designed grenades, machine guns, and giant catapult, among others. In 1870, James Starley is credited as the father of British bicycle industry. Many of his inventions led to closer types of the bicycles we ride today. Did Leonardo invent the bicycle? A bicycle does appear in Leonardo's notes, while historians agree that it is not his drawing. Some think that a pupil drew it after studying bicycle prototype in Leonardo's workshop. Others say it was drawn as a prank by somebody centuries later. We may never know for sure, although we do know that Leonardo had designed many parts that were used to build bicycles, such as gears and chains. In 1907, Paul Conroe was a bicycle maker by trade. He built the very first helicopter to lift off vertically. It hovered 1 foot above the ground for 20 seconds. Prior to that, Leonardo devised his own version of the helicopter, the helical screw. It used the same principle as modern helicopters for compressing air to achieve liftoff. Unfortunately, the weight of his machine and the man-powered mechanics would have prevented real flight. Modern boats have a fish-shaped holes, unlike the square-shaped holes of days gone by, and all passenger ships today are required to have double holes for extra protection. Long before these features were accepted, Leonardo watched fish swim and realized their body shapes were ideal for traveling through water. He also envisioned a double hull body to keep boats afloat after being rammed. In 1943, Jacques Cousteau and Emile Grignon made modern diving equipment popular when they designed an underwater breathing equipment called aqualung. Scuba gear existed much earlier than Leonardo, but he had added his own features, such as an inflatable bag to raise and lower a diver and reinforced a breathing tube. With the use of modern-day imaging technology, doctors now understand that when the blood moves through the heart, it forms a vortex that opens and closes the valves. Leonardo had already figured it out. Through detailed body dissection and simulated water experiments, he discovered and diagrammed accurate examples of vortex formation in the blood. There's the heart. What do a steam locomotive and a cooking rosary have in common? Leonardo da Vinci, of course. His notebooks are filled with experiments on steam power and air pressure, predicting the development of the steam engine. He understood that hot air rises and used that knowledge to operate an automatic rosary, the first one. Automotive engineer Carl Benz invented the first gas-powered automobile and essentially launched the auto industry. Leonardo's self-propelled cart foreshadowed both the automobile and the robot. The cart was spring-powered. Levers and gears were used to program its movements like a primitive robot. Leonardo designed and actually constructed robots for royalty and court pageants. Spring levers, water, and weights powered and controlled them. When people attended the 1940 World's Fair in New York, they came face to face with Electro and Sparktro, one of the world's earliest robots. In 1785, Jean-Pierre Blancard created the original all-fabric parachute and was the first to prove that it could provide safe escape from the hot air balloon. Actually, his dog proved it. There's his dog. Leo, or one could argue that Leonardo proved it before both of them. He had different purpose for the parachute. Its function was for traveling from high to low surfaces, like the birds he observed. His triangular design, unfortunately, was never tested. Until now. That's right. Leonardo's ideas are finally coming to life. Several are being tested. Nicholas built and flew Leonardo's parachute. Mark Rosheim built and operated a self-propelled cart and robot knight. Veblorin Sand's team built a single-span bridge. Dr. Maury Garb built and confirmed the success of Leonardo's artificial heart valve. Steve Roberts and Martin Kim built Leonardo's glider. Judy Leedon flew it. The amount of knowledge and vision found in Leonardo's notes is overwhelming. And remember, about 2/3 of the notes are still missing. Imagine that. Imagine what is left to learn from this incredible inventor. The end.